Yes. I think they're all good. No. We can ask them to one. Okay. Oh. Just for you and see. And I don't want to be just. And then hit me upset. So yes. At the end of it.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments Commission on Aging meeting for May 20th, 2026. We do have a quorum with our guests online, with our commissioners online, and we have lots of guests in the room. We're excited about their presentation. So before we get to the meat of the meeting, we're going to go around and introduce who's at the table and who's online as far as commissioners. My name is Paula Levy and I chair the commission. I have Never Alone Consulting, which is a dementia-based family consulting platform. I help families navigate dementia diagnosis with their loved one, and I'm also in the process of getting an adult day program off the ground for caregivers and their loved ones. That's a little bit about me.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Castan. I'm a nursing home administrator and quality improvement person by background. I currently support the Moving Forward Coalition in a pilot project to strengthen resident councils in nursing homes.
Hi, Phil Stafford. I'm an accessibility contractor. My business is Independent Home Living. I sit on Paula's board, A Place Like Home, and represent age-friendly committee for this commission.
Kent Matthews. I'm also on Paula's board. I am semi-retired. I'm doing part-time work for Advanced Hospice and Home Health as a social worker and as their bereavement coordinator. I worked here at the area agency before retiring 17 years doing the Family Caregiver Support Program. I think that covers it.
Penny Whitney with JAWS. I am the liaison to the Colorado Commission on Aging and involved with age-friendly Pikes Peak.
Great. Next, we'll go to Penny online from Park County.
Yes. Penny Everest, Penny 2, the Executive Director of Park County Senior Coalition.
Great. Thank you, Penny. And then Bob.
Yes, Bob Foster. I'm a commissioner from Teller County and sit on the board of the Teller Senior Coalition.
Thank you, Bob. Wanda.
Wanda Wood, El Paso County appointee.
And I can't see further down on the attendees. I don't know if we have any more commissioners. I think everyone else is a guest. Can't see. So, yep, I think that's all of our commissioners. All right, next we're going to move right into our presentation and get to know who's in the room over there. Thanks, Penny.
Thank you, Madam Chair Paula, for the opportunity, and commissioners for allowing me to introduce JAWS leaders from a variety of different programs and backgrounds. They're going to be sharing some of their experiences with you today, and hopefully give you an insight into how this program is growing. We're going to keep our comments relatively short and compact because what we're looking forward to is the conversation with the commissioners. And we have those in the room, but for sure, those of you online, we would like to invite you to have conversation with both our educators, community partners, and especially with the JAWS students. So the Commission on Aging is really an important JAWS partner because we have had the privilege of updating you regularly on the progress that this particular program has had in our community since the very inception in 2022, the very first pilot program in 2023, and now in 2026, to allow you an opportunity to see how the program has grown and the impact that it has made on the various partners, particularly the students. You are a point of accountability for us. If it weren't for you and for our business partners, quite honestly, this program would not exist. So thank you for your support and for being an advocate and a guiding light to where we could take our program. So before I begin our update, I would like to have Judy Scott and Jess Threadgill just come to the podium. 4 years is a long time, sometimes a short time, but in the growth of a program, it is absolutely a critical time. And as we look historically back on JAWS, if it weren't for the leadership of Judy at UCCS for that very first ARPA program and the willingness of Jess Threadgill at District 8 saying, sure, no problem, we can participate with students the very last week of school. And that was, honestly, I couldn't believe it. And here 4 years later, we've got Judy and we've got Jess still going. And when Jess talks about the growth of JAWS under her leadership and her ability to bring in other educators and a diverse grouping of students, I think you will appreciate, like I do, the energetic, the thoughtful leadership that she has brought to the program And honestly, the program would not exist without the beginnings right here. So Judy has some acknowledgement that she would like to present to John, to Jess, or Jaws.
Just for that 4 years, we are extremely grateful to give you just a token of appreciation for the time and energy you've given us, because my hope and our hope at UCCS is that we're preparing the next generations of the workforce that will know how to care. Adults. Thank you for all that you have done.
Well deserved.
Very
And
deserved.
sending with Jess today, we also have a special award of student leadership. One of Jess's students, Lily Welch, was here at the very beginning of the journey of JAWS in 2022. When the then just beginning ARPA project was presented to the Pikes Peak Council of Governments. And it was at that event and after that actually Lily, as a freshman student, led a conversation with the Pikes Peak Area Ombudsman that resulted in a JAWS narrative project. This project has been acknowledged by the State Ombudsman's Office as a project that we should definitely work to grow in the state of Colorado. So Jess, the academic leadership, the support that you give for your students, be a part of an external program is remarkable. So congratulations to you, and special congratulations to Lily. She will be graduating this week from Mount Fort Carson High School. Yes. Yes.
Saturday, she graduated Saturday.
So, thank you. Sure. I can't imagine a better place to acknowledge the work of Jess and 4 years of consistent activity of a remarkable young student leader. So now I will share with you a quick update, and Kent and Phil keep me going because I do not need to take more time than necessary. But one of the things that I want you to look at, these slides that I'm showing, Ashley and I, in partnership with Myron Stratton Home, we're pleased to present on the JAWS program at the Leading Age Colorado Conference. And there was remarkable interest in this program. And so hopefully there will be an opportunity to leverage the awareness from state events to, again, take JAWS to a different level. So thanks, Ashley, and their District 3 students or District 2 students, because they're going to show very significantly in this. Whoops, Joe, you promised me. There. Whoops, there we go, got it. As we think back to when JAWS happened, it was during the time of COVID. Those of us like Carolyn that know the long-term care business know that the workforce concern was not something that started with COVID. It had been a crack that people had been aware of, but the crack became a crevasse. And that crevasse is the thing that became devastating. The sad news, all of these years later, is that the crevasse still exists. It may not be as wide, may not be as deep, but it's still there. So the work that the educators that you're going to be meeting and the students continues to be critically important to address the workforce shortages. You've seen this slide a lot. JAWS started as an El Paso County ARPA grant to UCCS. A couple of remarkable things about JAWS. It started as a community conversation. And that, I think, is one of the reasons that JAWS continues to be able to grow enthusiastically and gain partnerships, because it is the result of community. And today we'll be listening to thoughts from a really important community partner, Kaylee Napo from Colorado Springs Fire Department. Remember back, JAWS had 3 buckets: a high school program, a university program, and a vision of a program for 50+ workers, all guiding them into opportunities for careers, for part-time work, for volunteer work in the critically important long-term care sector. You'll see the numbers here that we had as of the end of school year last year, over 44,000 work-based hours in high school students alone. With the work of Jess, the work of Ashley and the team at District 2, we're going to be close to 6,000 hours of work-based learning. That means students are interacting in the workplace with the professionals that do a variety of work in long-term care. Judy and I are actively engaged in trying to find opportunities for funding partners to create that 50+ that will probably be targeted to home health work, and particularly the respite component. These are what we call the JAWS core programs. In 4 years, 6 programs have been developed. Each of these programs represent 15 hours. Each of these programs represent students and business partners that have helped us deliver it. You will notice you've seen some of these before, but the new one to this new list is the JAWS PACE Apothecary Program. And 2 students from Community Prep will be talking about their experience. Fortunately, there were a few weather glitches, but why they volunteered to become part of this. So PACE is an active participating new JAWS partner, and District 8 is where that particular program came out of a conversation. These are the next, these are the programs that it's important to know. Some of them we've completed, some of them we will be working with. Today, the community services, Kaylee Napo is going to be talking about the work of the Colorado Springs Fire Department with programming for District 2. Others are on the horizon. The interface between long-term care and the legal system is one that District 2 is enthusiastically looking forward to developing in the fall. Lily Welch is probably an example of student leadership. Lily has been active in every single one of these areas of JAWS in the community. The students making time, preparing to come and be here is an active, visible example of students' eagerness and competence to be able to recognize and talk about JAWS in community settings. The HOSA program is phenomenal. District 8, Lily Welch, and other early JAWS leaders really added long-term care to the HOSA curriculum, introducing students statewide to the work in this area. The Narrative Project, we've had 2 pilots. This is a project we look to grow across JAWS programs in the fall, and we're actively working with the Alzheimer's Disease and Related Dementia Leadership Group with CDPHE to look at how we can develop a JAWS dementia certificate. So these are the programs that come out of the activities. These are District 2 students. And I think the really important component in this is Ashley, the NHA at Winfield House and Myron Stratton's home. The ownership of JAWS, notice the JAWS certificate students, they've completed their internship, but it was their desire to welcome, to come with the new cohort to Myron Stratton home, introduce them to Cassie, to the staff, and specifically to the residents. That is an indicator of what 15 hours of focused intergenerational interaction can result in. As Cassie was presenting to the leading age, there was a part of her presentation that really was significant. Not only did she speak of the value it has for the residents to have young people coming in, the dynamic energy that comes from the relationships, but she spoke about the importance of JAWS on the existing staff, the opportunity of people that work in very important jobs in long-term care to share what we do. We have some students today that will be able to speak with that. And the impact JAWS on students, JAWS on residents, but I think we've got an impact worthy of examining the impact of young students wanting to do the work that we do. DNA, as a facilities person, as a mission critical nutritionist, those are the areas I think that we need to have additional feedback on. Cassie said you can notice the buzz in the hallways at Myron Stratton. And when I walk in, they have no clue as to who I am, other than, oh, she's the one that brings the high school students. So when I walk in, they're looking behind me to see who's following. That is the level of excitement and anticipation that residents are beginning to develop. The work of District 8 at Bear Creek has created the same kind of energy. These photographs are remarkable because they showcase some of the students we have and the introduction of Colorado Springs Fire Department in doing a community life safety instruction for students, and then moving that instruction. How does it impact life safety in long-term care? Probably one of my favorite slides of any presentation is the slide that represents JAWS partnerships. Notice that in every area, we were here a year ago, we've grown high school, school district partnerships, we've grown community partnerships, and we've grown long-term partnership. And again, the reason that we're able to do this is because we bring support. You give us back to the community. So thank you for that support. Thank you for the time today. And now I would love to introduce my JAWS friend. It's going to be sort of informal, but we will start with Haley talking as a community partner. And then we will go to Ashley as an incredibly innovative, engaging school district partner. Then to Jeff, who has seen the program from the very beginning and has got her hand still saying, yeah, we'll be there next year. And then would like each of the district priests I'd like you to know what they brought. All of them represent the program. And we will end with community prep. These students that volunteered the pilots to take and expand our program, but they will go on action. This is a significant growth. So Bailey, it's yours, and then we'll go forward.
Well, thank you for letting us present to you all today and kind of share the growth and opportunity that the JAWS program has brought to us. As you all know, it takes a village, and thankfully we have so many wonderful partnerships in our community that we're able to continue to grow. I am newer to the JAWS program. I'm part of the age-friendly Pikes Peak, and then I'm also part of the Senior Resource Council. So I kind of got intertwined with all the great people, and then I was able to join the JAWS program. I just wanted to do a little tidbit on kind of what experience this has been for me and how it's not only allowed me an opportunity to be able to support our youth in understanding the importance of age-friendly, but also the opportunity for me to grow as a professional. So it's a give and take relationship for sure. But so I'm part of the Division of Fire Marshal, and I am in the fire and life safety era. So we're community education and outreach.
And so we had the opportunity first off to host a semester-long intern, which you'll hear from her a little bit later, but and be able to really build up Clarice, which I said you'll meet her a little bit, but really help her understand the importance of what we do and why it's important to have those partners and get in and out of facilities and just get to know the community. And so our intern had the opportunity to help us kind of identify some of our risks and trends. She was part of a big push that we're putting right now, which is called the Community Risk Assessment. She was part of the data collection and taking it herself, really understanding what is the community's perception on things and what are areas of growth. And one thing that was very well noted is that our aging population was very involved. They were the ones that were responding and had that wide knowledge of really what does our community look like and what areas can our city grow in. So she had that firsthand experience. Then she was able to take everything that she learned from our group and she was able to fold that in back into District 2 and become part of the 15-hour program in which we're going to speak of later. But she was able to kind of train the trainer. So she went through the internship, she went through everything with us, learned about the fire department and how we are intertwined with our community. And then she was able to go back and also train fellow students as well. So it was a great opportunity to be able to learn and also give back. In addition, I had the opportunity to do a 15-hour training with D2 students as well, which you'll hear from one of them later this evening as well. But it was a 15-hour just basic fire and life safety. What does that mean? So it was an opportunity for them to understand why is it important? Why do we have planning? Why is it important to understand how facilities work? So whether you're interested in being in nursing or you're interested in facilities management or you're interested in anything that has to do with our community, how does everything end up folding into each other and what's the importance of understanding partnership? So they went through, they learned the understanding of file of life and how important it is to understand your medical history, to be able to provide that, be able to do fire extinguisher training so that they can be a little bit safer and also again an opportunity to train the trainer. We got a little competitive about our timing with the fire extinguisher and how quick we could put the fire out, which is always fun, right? We want it out as quick as possible. But so it was an opportunity for them to really understand the workforce outside of high school and how everything really is intertwined and sky's the limit on opportunities of what we do to support our community. And then lastly, this is kind of a stretch from the JAWS, but it was a partnership that was developed through UCCS where I was able to mentor some nursing school students. So they had the medical side, but they didn't have the fire and life safety side. And so far I've mentored 2 nursing students and I have a 3rd one this summer, but they've had an opportunity to be able to see the EMS side, but also the facility side. And how do we educate the caregivers? How do we educate management? How do we pull everybody together to make sure that everyone is aging as comfortably as possible, whether it's in a facility or in their home? So understanding what's the best place for people and why is that important to give people that empowerment and understand facilities. But with all of these experiences, it's made me grow as a professional, as an educator. I didn't share this at the beginning, but I was a 20-year teacher. And so it was an opportunity for me to continue my growth process and learn from the youth and learn areas that, you know, maybe we can expand on because the sky's the limit with them. They're not jaded like many of us where, you know, we've seen things there, the sky's the limit and, you know, so many opportunities. So the questions that, you know, come about our conversations just makes our program stronger. So it's just a wonderful opportunity to work with college, high school, and just all of our community partners. And some of you I may have met before, and some of you here in the room with me, we've interacted in many ways, but it takes a village for all of us to grow and support our aging population. And thankfully I have an army behind me to continue to show that. So I am going to hand it over. Miss Ashley is going to come up to the podium for Harrison District 2.
Hi, I'm Ashley Sportel. I'm the Career Connected Learning Coordinator in District 2, Harrison School District 2. We have 4 high school, some of them physical locations, and then we have an online program. It's a part of that. And I have students who from 3 of those programs have been now active in JAWS. And so we had some students do some work initially with the health science classes from Sierra High School. And now we have Harrison High School represented working with Myron Stratton Home. And they were able to tie in some of the things they learn in class with how that work is actually done in practice. And then after we had that cohort, actually we had 3 cohorts from Harrison High School be a part of the health science classes connection. We were the first ones to get to pilot what's called life safety with long-term care. And so that's where we had the relationship with the fire department, Myron Stratton Home, and then UCCS also being a part of some of that programming. We were able to bring more of our partnerships together to, again, help students who might be interested in some other areas of work in the community, be able to connect those in practice. I had the students, I get to be the connector of these great experiences for students. When I'm driving the bus, sometimes the microbus, and then sometimes just getting the kids in the car. Like today, what's most impressive to me is that we have 3 were seniors. They have all graduated. Last week on Tuesday was their graduation. And so they are back after they are already finished with school to still show interest and passion about being involved in the community. And listening to them even talk in the car on the way here, it was about, you know, sometimes when they're seniors, they are looking for what are the opportunities that I have next after I graduate. They're excited to graduate, but now that they've graduated, it's, oh, now I have to really figure out what is coming next and make all of those connections with the community. So that's where our level learners are now, is how can they still find jobs, find connections to be involved in the community, whether they are going to different communities elsewhere or staying here to be a part of the community. So I am, because I'm a connector, I'm just going to bridge this with, I'm going to bring students up and they get to share a little bit, and then you can ask them some questions about what they've experienced.
Um, okay, thank you. I'm Jesseline Avila Bustamante, and I just graduated from Harrison High School as well. Nice to meet you.
My name is Azul. I graduated from CRA High School.
Sure. So I was in the Myron Stratton house internship, and I feel like I've connected with many of them throughout those 15 hours, and I feel like that was such a great experience for me because it helped me with just like going on with life. They also gave me great advice, so I feel like that was a great just like a great experience. Um, I also learned many like things as well. So like art, since there's like many there. Trisha, that's her name. She loves art, and I was able to expand my knowledge on art as well. Now I just do some paintings now and then. Also I created a great bond with Linda. She helped me with like school, just advice at school. Since she wants to be, no, since she already did like, some like things in the hospital, I feel like that was great for me because I'm really interested in the health related like, fields and I want to become an anesthesiologist. So I feel like that really helped me as well. And I'm just glad that I was able to have that connection and be in the Maya Stratton House like internship because I feel like I expended more my knowledge on like the internship in that like housing. Also I was able to help other students connect with them as well. Just bringing more students into that circle as well. I feel like that helped us like just like our experiences.
I worked with Mountain Vista Community School as a teacher aide. I worked with kindergarten kids, and it provided a lot of knowledge for me because growing up, I always knew I wanted to become a doctor, but I didn't know the type of doctor that I wanted to become. So after working with kindergarten kids and then getting back together with the Colorado Springs Fire Department, just engaging in all these things and doing different things that I actually had to give back to my community. I actually decided on my passion and what to follow. And while working with the Colorado Springs Fire Department, I learned a lot because we know it's related to fire safety and stuff. But like as the youth, all we see is them just saving lives and nothing else. But working together with them, I actually got meaningful insight and knowledge of what they actually do. And little did I know that they also had an educational plan where they teach kids about fire safety and things that they can do and things that they shouldn't do. While working with them, we also went back to where I first had my first internship at Mountain Vista Community School. And we spoke about teaching kids about fire safety related stuff and things that they can do and the risk of how fire related stuff adds up to the community. While working with the Colorado Springs Fire Department, I got to meet new people and I got to learn from the best. And they helped me a lot, especially when it came to like school and giving me advice after high school and stuff, and ways in which we can help keep our community safe and the risk that we can do and some of the things that we can do to decrease the risk of fire safety in our community. Thank you.
So as we all know, I would like to share some of the experiences I've had at the life safety internship, and it was a very interesting experience that I've had to have. I'd like to start with how we originally learned how to theorize about what we could make possible in order to improve, for example, how chemical composition in couches could affect how fire spreads in couches. Another thing I learned after getting certified for fire extinguisher is how we can look for fire safety mechanisms in buildings, such as fire alarms, sprinklers, exit signs, and other stuff. Another thing we learned in there is that with electromagnetic locks on doors, that they will close and open depending on how the fire panel reacts to certain situations. And I had experiences at the Myron Stratton home, as well as going to the fire museum. And that's just a little bit about me, and I'd like to continue moving forward and progressing in my knowledge about fire safety. Thank you.
Having us. I think you can see, I mean, after listening to these guys, that JAWS really offers an opportunity for our students to have those intergenerational connections. And I think that's huge because my my students, a lot of them, they were patient care technician students, and they were able to go and do internship at Bear Creek. And the big thing I noticed when they came back a little more confident and with more empathy and compassion towards people of all ages. And it gave them the opportunity to see that they need to go into healthcare. That's what a lot of them want to do, with an open mind. Because as young people, they typically have these set ideas of what things are going to be like and how people are. But once they get into the long-term care facilities and work with the older adults, they find it's amazing just when they come back how much they've grown as people. And I know some of them aren't going to go into necessarily long-term care, but they have been shown what it's like to age. And now they're aware of it. And now they can make better decisions as health professionals that can help in the long run. So JAWS is just one of those things that has allowed them to grow as individuals and have afforded them to be better professionals in the future, even if they don't go into medicine. They now know. So JAWS is a great program for this, and I look forward to seeing what we do with the stuff coming ahead with Penny and all their opportunities. So thank you.
Hey y'all, I'm Aspen and I will be graduating in 2026 from community prep school. As the JAWS program was not at our school before this year, we had the opportunity to work with Penny to develop and pilot it from school. I had not developed a program before this, so it was great to add to my experience. We started with an initial meeting with Penny to explain the basics of JAWS and assess personal needs. There we set up the feedback form for our school's program, began scheduling the lectures, talking about and providing information on what worked and didn't and could get it. I was interested in this program due to my interest in pharmacology. While I was unable to get much value from that side of things due to the specialty of it, one of the speakers from UCCS actually admitted that was able to get me the contact with a pharmacology professor there later. Additionally, the knowledge gained in aged care and developing this pilot was incredibly valuable. We're also able to work the credit into the 60-hour program, 60-hour credit program per school. We had several lectures including an overview of the aging, on health promotion, a lecture on ageism, following information on aging, and lastly, due to a weather-related scheduling conflict, a case program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, one-on-one lecture in place of a planned 15 every 2 day experience with PACE. JAWS showed me the depth of aged care, including balancing medications, navigating financial struggles, and maintaining independence, increased my interest in mission. As our population of individuals requiring aged care increases, the need for raising awareness for it does as well, which is one of the core principles of the JAWS program. Now for my student partner in the JAWS pilot, Layla.
Hi, my name is Leila Salazar. I'm a freshman student at community prep school. And before knowing or anything about the JAWS program, I was very unsure about what career path I wanted to follow. Because I knew I was very interested in mental health and helping people who may be struggling with emotional or mental problems, but I wasn't sure where that interest would take me. So then after my advisor mentioned to me about this JAWS program and started explaining how it helps students like me gain experience and knowledge and important life skills. And when I was selected to join, I had no idea how much it would change my perspective. As I learned more about aged care and healthcare, I became fascinated by how important compassion and patience and empathy are in helping others. JAWS taught me that healthcare is not only about treating illnesses, but also about making people feel respected, comfortable, and cared for. Through this program, I developed valuable skills like communication, teamwork, responsibility, and understanding others. It also helped me realize that helping people is something I genuinely enjoy, and it strengthened my passion for healthcare. Overall, being part of the JAWS program has been one of the most meaningful experiences of my life so far. It opened my eyes to new opportunities and taught me that even small acts of kindness can make a big difference in someone's life. And I'm genuinely grateful for this opportunity, and I look forward to learning and growing so I can one day make a part of it. So, thank you.
On behalf of, I think, all of the JAWS speakers today, thank you all for the opportunity to speak. Any questions?
Start. Like, I just am, I get so excited about all of this work. I shared in my introduction, I was a nursing home administrator for almost 30 years, and I did it because of the mission, but because of the passion and joy I found in the work. So the opportunity for you all to see that joy can be found in long-term care after some of the bad press we know long-term care gets, just like fuels my soul. So thank you. I am curious for our students that had the opportunity to be at Byron Stratton or Bear Creek, what surprised you about that exposure to that kind of environment? Like, how is it different than maybe you thought it would be? But there we go.
I personally think it was a lot more relaxed and able to open up to people, and a lot of people were much more kind than my age, like people my age. And that's my thoughts on that.
Okay. I believe that, like how Isaiah said, it was more relaxed, and I feel like I had a bigger exposure to like other age group, since I'm mostly like just a part of my own age group. So I feel like I was able to understand more widely of like how, like just like our, like not like our age. So I was like able to understand how their life was like, how their life like, was like able to help them, right? And just like the advice they gave me, I feel like that helped me a lot more. And since it was more like peaceful, I was able to gain more confidence from that as well. Because I was able to like just talk about anything to them, and it was just like a bigger like experience.
And I guess a comment for all the professionals supporting this work, you will never know the lives that you're touching by supporting these students and the ripple effect it's going to have. Like, I was even, when I was listening to the fire department talk about exposing nurses to the EMS side of things, we do a lot of work on trying to prevent readmissions, and just helping nurses think about what's that experience like for an older adult to ride in an ambulance can impact, cause somebody to pause and think, can we safely manage them here and not just send them off to the emergency room? So I get choked up talking about this. You are impacting lives in ways you can't even imagine sitting here today. So thank you.
So I have a master's degree in social work. And when I was here at the area agency, I had the opportunity to be a field instructor for MSW students working on getting their own MSW degree. And the one thing I noticed is at the end of every year, when the students had a chance to choose where they wanted to go to intern, gerontology or working with old people, it was kind of like I was standing alone in a corner because everybody was picking everything else. So what I love about the JAWS program is providing you all with that exposure. I have a question. I'm going to state it this way because I thought about it when I was writing down the question, and aging is a very polite way of saying we're all getting old. Okay. And so my question has to do with what's the biggest challenge you see with getting old based on your experiences with JAWS to this point?
I think my answer to that question would be on the impact of aging. I think personally, could you repeat the question? Sorry.
So what, from your experience with JAWS, what do you see is the biggest challenge for getting old?
Oh, as the biggest challenge I see for getting older, I think personally, what I think is how our body deteriorates over time. Personally.
Okay.
I think mine is just having less opportunities. So like traveling, also just like the health related problems. Um, I feel like that's just like a big challenge, from my perspective. Um, yeah.
I feel like health is one of the main problems that you pick up when it comes to like people aging and stuff. And as she said, traveling a lot seems to be difficult because most people can't travel alone, or you'd actually need someone by your side to actually do that. So yeah.
Personally, for me, I feel like I have a couple. One of the biggest challenges though is like not letting yourself go, like mentally or physically. Like it's like healthy to keep your mind active with like activities, and then with your body it's like it's healthy to keep it like healthy like physically with exercising, and it's important to have health promotion, like you to know your health promotion and to keep your body safe. And then also I'm kind of like one of the challenge that I'm scared to face when I get older is like discrimination and like all that, because I don't want to get discriminated for how like old I look for, or like for how I act, you know, like because I could obviously, because I might be able to like do some stuff, but then others might think, oh yeah, you're too old, you can't do that, you know.
Yep.
Like that's one of my biggest
I would say the biggest challenge I can think of is just the general deterioration of health, and then, like they said, like the lack of respect, or I've heard some people talk about like getting like almost baby voiced at like stores and stuff like that.
While you have the mic, I want to ask a question. Do you, sort of piggybacking off of Kent's comment about knowledge of long-term care and picking gerontology as a career, did this experience maybe open your eyes as somebody interested in pharmacy? Did you learn new ways that maybe you could operate at the top of your license as a pharmacist in long-term care that you weren't aware of before?
Like I mentioned, sorry, like I mentioned in my speech or whatever, um, definitely like managing medications for especially like older adults, because they can be on like 12, 15 medications at one time, and generally there's not a lot of oversight in like managing cross interactions and like that.
Right. At the university, JAWS is growing a little differently. And another time, I'd love to share that with you. But what I want you guys to hear, I want to make sure I said this while the students were here, is you're answering two questions the university and I are looking. One of them is how does the JAWS program address aging education? And I heard loud and clear that word a little bit. I know I've heard from you or others that you also feel like they don't listen to you either. So I think JAWS addressing age discrimination. I love that. That's something we're working on. The other question I'm asking as a researcher is, how does the JAWS program influence a choice of a career down the road? And wherever you're choosing pediatric, say engineering or medicine, you know, the fact is you get a chance to go in an area where aging will happen, which is everywhere. And there's a huge demand. So I just wanted to tell you that. So I didn't
Thank you.
And what you might not have seen was our eyes connect with each other as you were all speaking, and the fact that we hope there's still hope for us. As some of us more than others. But you've touched on this a little bit, but I'm always interested in how this program has changed your perspective of older people.
Well, personally, on my perspective on the aging population, it's not really that we get older as a thing to be looked down on at all. I think as we get older, it just allows us to expand our horizons and influence other people to expand their horizons and grow as a community in general.
I feel like I'm gonna start this by the term old, because by my knowledge and perspective, I feel like I would just call people old without learning about their perspectives and what it actually means. But once I joined the JAWS program, I got meaningful insight, and I actually got to learn what the term old means and what it's really indicate. And I feel like it also relates to like how older people just get to experience new things, new adventures, and try new things, you know. And then it also provides meaningful insight to us as the youth, because once we look at older people, we have like these judgmental stuff. But once we get to learn about them, our mind, like our brain just changes and we just have different opinions on them.
I want to make sure that we have questions, if we have questions online, that people are going to raise their hands. So please, everyone online, raise your hands if you have questions so we can get those addressed. And I just want to piggyback on this question. So going into this program, what was old to you before you started working with old people? What did old look like? Because I have a friend who is 80, now 86 years old, and I've known him for a long time, 30, maybe not that long, maybe 25 years. And I always quote him. He says, it's a privilege to grow old, because not everybody gets that privilege, right? Not everybody gets that privilege. But when I met him, I thought he was old. And he wasn't that old. Now he's 86 and kind of old, you know. But what was old to you before you started working with old people? And I don't mean Miss Whitney. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I would say I originally was thinking around like age of 75, probably, maybe a little bit earlier, like the start of retirement. And now I know there's not really like much of an age as there is just like a large variety of everything across people.
Yeah, to kind of agree with Aspen. Well, before this whole program and before JAWS, old to me was like after retirement. It
Okay.
was like, yeah, or like I guess in a nursery or not in a nursing home.
Okay.
But now, I honestly, yeah, like I said, I honestly don't see like old for just like an age or anything. Like, like you could be 80, like how old your friend is, and he's still like he could still be very young and mindful or like physically like. And so yeah, now I just see like old maybe as like maybe an older adult that can't really not function, but like yeah. in- in- oh yeah, that needs assistance and like with walking or like with anything. But I wouldn't really call that old. I would just call it like more support than
My opinion on old used to be that when you got old, you tend to be more stubborn originally. That's what I originally thought. But throughout the learnings I've had, it tends to appear that the more old you are, the more expertise you have in a lot of things, and it just expands my horizons so much that I love to learn new things and have opportunities to grow. And at this point, I want to say I want to grow old at this point, you know.
Well, I would think it would be around 70 before I knew about the JAWS program. But now, since I'm in the JAWS program, I feel like my perspective has changed a lot. And I feel like there's many different meanings for old. Since I'm 17, maybe like the 10-year-old call me old. You're old. So I feel like there's like different definitions for old, but now I feel like old is more needing assistance, like they said, just like more support. I feel like that's just like a definition for me, old. But there's like many people who need assistance, even if they're not old. So I wouldn't really call that old. But yeah, that's how I would think of it.
Before I joined the JOS program, I would always think that old would be around the age of 50, you know, because I was like, old people can't do what as you do today, you know. But after I joined the JOS program, I'm like, oh, so nobody really gets old. We just, you know, tend to need assistance, need support, and our mind tends to develop differently. Because the older you get, the more mature you become, and you get to learn new things from older people. And one of the things that I would always say before I joined the JOS program was like, old people don't listen because they wouldn't like take our opinions and stuff. It's just mainly about them. But after I joined the JOS program, I was like, oh, so nobody's really old, you know. We can always state our opinions and our voices to the right people that would always want to hear our different opinions. Yeah.
Great answers. Thank you. We do have a couple questions online.
Yep.
Kim, would you like to go?
Yes. Hi. Sorry, I typically attend these meetings in person and I chose the wrong one to to join online. But I want to thank all of the students and just acknowledge that the work you're doing is very important. And also there are a ton of programs that support intergenerational I guess, innovation. So if you have interest in this space, keep going because there's lots and lots of opportunities for you. And just one other plug, I run a platform, social media platform in which I do storytelling, and it's all about age positivity and reframing the way we look at aging. So if there's any students who would like to be interviewed, I would, if you could let Penny know, I would love to interview you. I'm here in town. So thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Wanda?
Thank you so much. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Great insight from the work you guys are doing. But I just wanted to know, where do you think your generalization over age came from prior to you working with the JAWS program?
I used to think, because it's the community I grew in, it's just how the community phrased it when I was growing up. It is just seemed like old was like the natural thing to call people at that time. But now I realize that there's a lot more to age and how we think.
Anyone else have an answer for that? Aspen?
I think as a society in general, once people are like not as productive as they once were, kind of the tendency to let go of them, stop supporting them, that's getting worse over time. And that kind of spreads to the culture too. So I guess that's where I would say my generalizations came from before.
Great. There's one more question online. Mel?
Hi there. My name is Melanie Gordon, and I work at Community Prep School. And Aspen and Lilo are my students. And I actually don't have a question. I just wanted to give them a shout out because I'm so proud of them, and they worked really hard, and they helped pilot a program that we are really excited to continue to work with moving forward. I run the internship program here, and so this is kind of a really great opportunity for our students to get into healthcare because it's a very hard field for students to really intern in at the high school level due to regulations. So this has been a really cool bridge for us to get a lot of our kids who are interested in healthcare out there. So I just wanted to put that out there and just let them know I'm very proud of them.
Great, thank you. And if we don't have any more questions, I think we can wrap it up.
Introduce Stacy Wallace. Stacy, if you would just stand up so people could meet you. Stacy is with the District Food Program, and it was Stacy group with Isaiah that actually were the pilot participants with Haley and Clarice in the life safety program. So thank you for being a part of JAWS, Stacy.
Great. Thank you so much. That was the best meeting we've ever had, I think. Thank you so much. All right, we'll continue on with our meeting. You all are welcome to stay if you'd like. Surely don't have to. But I noticed we did have a few more commissioners join since we started, and hopefully they're still on. Dayton, you still with us? Maybe not. Kim, we heard from?
I'm here.
Okay, great. And I guess maybe Dayton had to step off. And Erin? Wanda, yeah, Wanda introduced herself. But Erin, yeah, Erin's commissioner.
Yes, I'm here.
Great, great. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, super. All right, back to our agenda. We need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Phil Stafford, I move that we approve it.
And a second.
Penny Everest, second.
Great. All in favor of the emotion of the agenda being approved as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next, we will, well, we moved into, I don't believe we have any public comment, or do we have public comment? No, no public comment. We already had our presentations, and 3, 4. We are now on item 6, information items, and that is our membership committees, our membership committee, and that would be, oh, Melissa was on for a short time. Yep, Melissa, you still here? Okay, all right. Now, why am I drawing a blank on who was helping with? Oh, Steve.
Here,
I'm sorry. Oh, you are here. Okay. And Steve was helping with membership committee. Yeah.
Yep. And we don't have an update.
We don't have
And
anything.
Steve, Steve emailed me and he was not able to make the meeting. So,
Okay.
And that's okay.
Not a problem. All right. Jurisdiction report updates. I don't believe we have any of those either.
And Paula, I'll continue with that just briefly.
Sure.
That's a reminder for our folks who are the appointees that we would have wanted to do a update to the jurisdictions for May, which is Older Americans Month, but we did not prepare reports and have things formally ready to go. And so our next scheduled attempt to do that will be in October.
Okay.
And I do have the calendar prepared for all the different kind of meetings that we'll have once a month in order to put the presentations together and have them ready to go in October. So for appointees, stay tuned. We'll try to make this a real thing come October.
Okay, could we also maybe make a template for their report so they would have maybe just a.
We have one and probably end up tweaking it somewhat.
Okay, great.
But we do have one from the first time we did it. But
That would be
we'll
great.
edit it.
Okay.
Since
That
we
might
did
be
it
helpful
once
and
and we'll
be
see
a
where we
prompt.
land.
Yep, that might be helpful and be a prompt for them to carry it with them and at least try to fill it out moments before the meeting if possible. All right, next is the Colorado Senior Games update. Is that also you, Melissa?
A little bit, but I also know Carolyn and Kim are part of it too.
Okay.
And so I don't know, I'll leave it if either of them want to make a comment. Otherwise, I'll add some additional information here, but I'll let them, if they want to jump in and say anything.
This is Carolyn. I was not able to attend the last meeting, so I don't have the most up-to-date information. I do have the lanyards that I need to drop off the office so we can consider if we want to make some name badges for use for folks that might need a little extra assistance during the game.
Did you bring those with you, Carolyn?
I did not. I ran out at the last minute and forgot to bring them.
Okay.
But I'll make a trip
'Cause I was
back and
gonna say
drop them off. Yeah.
You could just leave them in my office or whatever. That'll be fine whenever you want to. So I think I'll just remind folks the dates, and it's been a little while since I've thought about it. June 5th through the 7th. I'm hoping I have that right. June 5th, a Friday, is opening ceremony, kind of opening game activities at the Colorado Olympic Museum. We will have a table there. And so if commissioners want to be stopping by to kind of see what that is like for that day, I imagine parking, we have to pay for parking. If I find out differently, if there are parking passes to, be able to park around the Olympic Museum, I'll let people know as it gets closer. But we are having kind of an opening event that day. So hopefully it'll be something worth stopping in to visit and see. And then the majority of the games happen on Saturday. They are looking for someone to help. I think volunteer opportunities still with track and field. So if anyone wants to sign up for that, we will have a table at the track and field event if anyone wants to kind of be at the table. I will also have a table at archery. They've encouraged having a table at pickleball. So again, for commissioners, if you want to stop in and, kind of be at a table or actually do some volunteering, definitely, get with myself, Carolyn, sooner. Also kind of go online, but if you give us a heads up you want to do it, we can pass it on to the Colorado Springs Sports Corps folks to let them know that people want to do it and keep an eye out for that. And also, most importantly, really just try to go and watch a couple of events. So you go on the Colorado Senior Games website, find out where the events are happening on Saturday. And, our big goal was to try to get more people to kind of show up for the games. So please just grab a friend or 10 friends and go watch a couple of events, whether it's billiards or archery or basketball or pickleball, any of that. Just, kind of maybe think about spending an hour or 2 or 5 on Saturday watching an event or two. It's worth it. And we wanted to get more spectators in. So I think that's my information about the senior games.
Melissa, you have your podcast out also. So I think another way people can help is to share the link to the podcast and encourage people to listen and connect with some of the athletes.
Can you share that link with the group? When you talk about table, are you talking about those are just like event tables at each event, or will there be vendor tables? Or tell me more about the tables.
There are Yeah, there are very few vendor tables. So like it's us and Medicare Mentors. I mean,
Okay.
and Senior Resource Council, like super few tables.
Okay.
And yeah, so not very, not a whole lot of vendors hanging out. So it really is a very kind of intimate, little gathering of sorts with the tables. But
Okay.
athletes are there, and a nice opportunity to talk to a few of them and talk to family members and that kind of thing. So
Great. All right.
Yeah.
Next is item D, Policy Committee, end of the state session, Colorado Center for Aging update. Do we have?
All right. I also had a couple things about senior games.
Oh, I'm
that I wanted
sorry.
to
Yes.
mention.
Sure.
No, it's okay. One thing is when I connected with the Colorado, I forget exactly what they're called, the sports organization that is running it, and I had a meeting with them about volunteers because I wanted to enlist USAA folks, employees, but there was very few volunteer opportunities remaining to be filled. And so I did not promote internally because it was literally, when I spoke to her, like a few. I am going to be volunteering myself on Friday at the pickleball. I think it's from like 12:30 to 5. So I will be there for that. And Melissa, I still need to follow up with your athletes that you connected me with via email, but I still plan to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Kim. Anyone else have a have a pickleball update? Have a sorry about that. Pickleball on the right. Anybody have a senior games update? No. Okay.
And it's one of my important jobs. Sorry to hear that. Are there other ways to open the job?
Penny, your mic is on. Can you mute her?
It sucks. I want to have my space.
I'm if there's several. Aaron's mic is on. Can you mute the mic? Can you mute the mics? Thank you. Penny, were you going to say something online? Penny online? No.
No.
All right. Next, we have the Policy Committee, end of the state session. I don't think we have a Colorado Center for Aging update. Jared, do you have the Pikes Peak Area Council Government Legislation Committee update for us?
I do. Good afternoon, everyone. So a relatively short update compared to previous ones. The Colorado General Assembly did adjourn CNADA last Wednesday. I've included the current status that Tom is pulling up right now. No new changes. The governor is still waiting for signature on 1010 and 1110. And then the bill we're monitoring at 1107 was signed by the governor on May 4th. Just an overall feeling. The general session this year was dominated by budget concerns, and that's going to continue into next year. The state budget offices will release this next budget forecast June 18th. That is primarily just kind of a touch point awareness forecast. The September forecast will be what the executive branch uses to propose their 2027 budget. And then once you get into December, that's what the General Assembly will use to start really building out its budget forecast as well. On the federal side, it's also budget season. The federal appropriations process is in full swing. We're starting to see the first fiscal year 27 bills starting to reach the floor on the House side. The bill that this group would be most likely interested in is the HHS appropriations bill, and that is not going to be into appropriations markup until June 5th and 9th. That's pretty much all I've got. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Jared? No. Thank you for joining us, Jared, online. Appreciate it. Next is the Colorado Commission.
Foster.
I'm sorry.
I said, this is Bob Foster.
Oh, yeah, Bob.
Whatever happened to the Homestead Act and getting that for money for the future? I thought it was fine for what, 26, but not for 27, or 25 and not for 26.
You're talking to senior homestead tax exemption?
Yes.
So that is funded for the upcoming season. That was we had heard over and over again that the legislature really wanted to keep that in place, and it did. What that looks like for next year, that's about a $250 million annual appropriation. So we'll keep fighting for it. The legislature really wants to keep it, but it is in place for right now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, next is the Colorado Commission on Aging. No report there. Pikes Peak Area Council of Government Board of Directors items. Melissa, would you, I know I attended the last board meeting and was present when Melissa read the Older Americans Act proclamation, Older American Month, yeah, Older Americans Month proclamation. And she recognized other folks from the commission who were present and online. I don't have, there were new board of directors in the rooms because of the elections that took place throughout the cities. They had new folks representing like mayors and that type of thing. So there were new people around the table. Melissa, do you have any other report from the board of directors? For Jared?
I don't. Nothing that I was tracking. So Jared might have something though, possibly.
I would say nothing in addition for aging. A relatively heavy transportation one. They did approve the transportation improvement program and did get some updates regarding some recurring planning documents that they need to review.
All right. Next is chair report. And I don't have a lot to report. I did get a little bit of feedback from the Silver Key 2-day expo. I was not able to attend, but for those who did attend, if you'd like to offer some input, I think that was the first 2-day event that I know of, community event for seniors, and was curious as to what the attendance was like for a 2-day event. If those who maybe Melissa, we PPACG had a table both days. What did anybody else attend, or was there any other feedback from that?
So
Anybody
I will
online?
definitely share a few things, but I wonder if other folks have anything before I throw out my comments.
And anybody online? Did anybody online attend and just wanted to know how it went? What was the attendance like? And
Yeah, this is Erin. I attended. I just attended on Thursday. It was really well attended. They had a lot of vendors. It looked like a really great turnout. I taught chair yoga. It was a full class.
Awesome.
Yeah, really fun event. I didn't go for Friday, so I'm not sure what Friday was like, but yeah, really good turnout from what I could see.
Super. Thank you. Anyone else online?
Penny from,
Yeah,
yes,
Penny.
Penny from Park County Senior Coalition. Patty Lucy, who's the president of the Seniors Alliance in Platte Canyon, did attend it last Thursday. She loved it. She had a ton of information to share with everybody. And then Susie, one of my board members, represented us, and she was down there too. And it was just very eye-opening about all the information and the things and how they all work. So they both liked what had happened.
Great. Great. All right, Melissa.
So I think overall it was good. I think that it was quite busy. I think it was probably for us at least similar in numbers to people who came last year, but it was spread out over the 2 days, which made it bearable. But I think we saw kind of similar numbers of people and gave away same amounts of yellow books from the year before, but did it over 2 days, which was okay. the second day on Friday, people definitely packed up pretty early. It did get pretty quiet after lunch, and that was okay, I guess. Silver Key, I think, tried to have a pretty compelling program at the end of the day on Friday, but I don't think a lot of older adults actually stuck around for it. But I could be wrong. If Laura Cronick is still on the call, I think she sat in that presentation, and so I don't know how full it was or not. And it was a presentation on kind of aging in Colorado Springs or aging in the Pikes Peak region, and they had three mayors, including our Colorado Springs mayor, who was very late. But the other two mayors from Monument and Fountain, I was really curious if lots of older adults were going to stick around to hear from them. But I'm not real sure. So I'll leave that. I don't know again if Laura Cronick is on still or not.
I don't see her.
Okay. There were some healthcare systems that were there, which I thought was really good to see them. And they were probably there last year. I was able to actually walk around the room and see who was there. Last year I couldn't do that, but this year I could. So it was just nice to see Calm and Spirit and UC Health there. And then there were a couple of other, businesses, bath fitters and some other ones that I thought, I don't know how well, if they had a whole lot of visitation or not. I think that, yeah, it was interesting. And I feel like when Silver Key did it at the Antlers downtown, I think they had more vendors when they did it at the Antlers, probably because it was less expensive. I'm not sure. But I do feel like there were less vendors this year. And so I'd like to see more vendors. Lots of people, lunch went lots better. Highly recommend it, but I would like to see some more vendors there. So,
Was there space
I'll
for
share
more
that with
vendors?
everybody.
Was there room for
No,
more vendors?
probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
So
And
the
why
vote here
did the Antlers have more room?
yeah, I thought about this when I was there last year when it was one day, and then I was there on Friday. The one side room, because you come down the steps and then that's the room where they had a lot of the side rooms for the presentations, and that bigger room is kind of where the two healthcare providers were. That's where AAA was at. But then you walk down that short hall and you go into the second room, and all of the vendors in that room just kind of felt like they were cramped in. It's a very tight room. And thinking about difference between Antlers and Great Wolf Lodge is, I think there were more vendors when it was at the Antlers, and it was more spread out. It didn't feel as cramped, but that one room, they just try to get as many vendors in there as possible. And it's like you're all sitting on top of each other. And for people with hearing problems, it's not a good venue to be at, because you're hearing, if you've got hearing problems, especially in a room where there's a lot of other noise going on in the background, it makes it very difficult for older people to hear anything in a room like that.
That's really good feedback, and maybe we can just have our recording, just our transcript, just send it over to Silver Key with our feedback so that they get some good feedback. I don't know if they do a survey afterwards or whatever, but it's always good to get feedback. Yeah. Okay, great. Next is item 7, working session, and item A is age-friendly Pikes Peak and Pikes Peak Commission on Aging combining work groups. And the meeting for that will be June 18th from 9 to 11:15 at the Colorado Springs Senior Center. Penny, do you have any comment on that? No? just a second. Penny's gonna make her way to the mic.
Thank you. The important thing to know about the combined working session between Age Friendly and the commission work groups is that all of the commissioners will be receiving invitations for June 18th, 9 to 10, 11:15 at the senior center. And the review of city priorities will be provided by Thomas from the city, the mayor's community liaison, and we will have dedicated working time. So the goal of this particular meeting is for each of the 3 work groups to leave with an actual actionable plan for a community deliverable so that we take talk to action. We look forward to having people attend. If you know of people that might be interested in community age-friendly work, either learning about it or actively participating, please let Paula know and I will connect with her and we'll make sure that they get a specific information with all of the details.
Thanks, Penny. All right. I kind of skipped over, I'm sorry. I skipped over our, no, I didn't. Didn't skip over any. All right. So next is item 8, discussion items. And I know Kent had something that he shared with the caregiver group. And we can share it with the group through the email after this meeting, but Kent, you want to just touch on it?
Yeah, it was it was written by Kathy Heary, who's an RN, has a BA and an MS. It was on my LinkedIn feed, and she basically, the reason I shared it with the caregiver work group on the Commission on Aging is because I think she hit the nail on the head when she's basically talking about America's discharge system has quietly shifted hospital level of care onto families, offloading complex medical tasks onto untrained, unpaid caregivers who never agreed to become the nation's hidden workforce, and talks about it's not empowerment, it's systemic abandonment, and the 3 realities being created that families don't have the ability to cope with and deal with is the health trajectory, because nobody's given them honest information about what the health trajectory really is. Financial burnout rate, the fear of running out of money and the actual running out of money, and the housing capacity in terms of where do you go, kind of a thing before making any kind of long-term care decision. I mean, she just nailed it all over the place. And so that's one of the things I think we'll be talking about tomorrow with the caregiver work group, is a little bit about that.
That's great. That's great. I think we could bring it up at best practices also. That'd be a good discussion there. So,
Yeah, I'll be there.
good. All right. Any other discussion items for the group? Carolyn shared an amazing video, music video about Adult Day, and I shared it out on some of my social media, but I will share it to the group after the meeting. It's such a positive, uplifting music video about Adult Day and how it used to be the last source of that was thought of as far as that discharge planning, and now it's the way. The Adult Day is the way. And I sent it out to some people and said, I sent it to my board and said, sorry if you're going to be humming this song for the rest of the day because it's really a catchy tune. I will share it out to the group after the meeting, but it just made me so happy because we're on such a positive trajectory for a place like home. So I hope you enjoy it. And I'm so grateful for Carolyn for sharing that with me. So anybody online have any shares before we adjourn? No? Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for June 17th. We'll have lots to talk about with the senior games and everything else everyone's got going on. And our executive committee meeting is online and always open to everyone. And that is the first Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. And then policy committee meetings are as scheduled, our working group. Now we have 2 working groups that are regularly scheduled. Caregiving is the third Wednesday at 2 p.m. And there's a link for that Carolyn or Jared.
Thursday.
Sorry, did I say Tuesday? Oh, I said Wednesday. I'm looking at Thursday. The caregiving working group is the third Thursday at 2, which is tomorrow. And there's a Teams link for that. And then the social engagement meets the fourth Thursday at noon. And there is a link for that if anyone's interested in attending those. And then the upcoming Pikes Peak Area Council government meeting schedule is on the screen right now, and it is also in your packet that we receive. And that is it, I believe. The
Paula,
meeting.
this is Bob Foster again.
Yes, Bob.
I'm sorry, my finger's slow at getting, we're really cold up.
I know you are. You had a 2-hour delay for the schools up there.
Yeah,
today.
that's right. Any discussion anywhere, any concern anywhere about our state legislature cutting Medicare reimbursement for transportation for seniors and others down to 7 cents per mile from started at 50 about 4 years ago, 30 cents, and now it's at 7 cents. And from the largest transportation entity in Teller County, we can't do Medicaid at 7 cents, period, 0. And so, but I haven't heard anything. I just was wondering if it has come up anyplace else. I would think the community partnership would also have some problems with that too, but haven't heard anything. So I would just thought, that's going to be at our board meeting, probably the biggest thing. What do we do with our seniors who are on Medicaid, and yet at 7 cents, we're probably losing 30 to 32 cents a mile, and we have huge miles to go with them. So I'll shut up. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate you bringing that up, and it looks like Jared's off. Oh, Jared's here. Jared, do you have any comment on that, or Melissa? Because I was not privy to that information, and that is a huge cut.
And it kind of came out of nowhere. It wasn't like, I'm sorry, but I'm so sarcastic about our legislature, but it's almost like, well, yeah, we balanced it, and then they kind of wait till the details come out, and people then get surprised at, well, that's how they balanced it. They just took all this money and just, I'm sure there are other areas in the budget when it finally came down to people looking at it, they got very surprised, just like we did.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. And again, Jared or Melissa, do you have any, or Lucy has her hand up. Go ahead.
So when I was at the aging conference in April, I went to a few sessions that sort of touched on some of these things, but like the provider cuts, from my understanding, is, how we're making up a ton of deficit. And so it's, transportation providers, doctors, home care, the whole, like across the board, all providers are taking cuts. Certainly we didn't talk about, the suddenness of it or the percentages that each, thing is seeing, but that seemed to be sort of the general trend to help make up for a lot of the shortfalls. I don't know if that's helpful, but that's my take.
And I can jump in, and Lucy pretty much hit it pretty accurately. They had a $1.5 billion deficit, and a lot of it came off of Medicaid, partly because that's where the growth has been happening through the state budget. On the specifics on what transportation looked like, I don't have those in front of me. I know I was emailing back and forth with Ronnie Gordon and Kathy Lowry last week as the session was wrapping up. I will say, generally speaking, the level of distrust between the General Assembly and the Healthcare Policy and Financing Department of the state is low, if not non-existent. The executive director of HICPUF resigned at the end of March after she was likely going to be facing a bipartisan vote of no confidence. They are taking a hard look at what they fund through Medicaid. It doesn't help that transportation Medicaid reimbursements has been a target of fraud. There's a case involving two people with about $400 million in Medicaid fraud and trips that either weren't provided or were greatly exaggerated. And so there's a lot that needs to happen on the Medicaid side at the state level. I'll just kind of say, like, to illustrate the level of distrust between the state and HICPUF, or the General Assembly and HICPUF, in order to kind of do some of the things, they have charged Arapahoe County with implementing some changes as opposed to the state. There's a lot going on that needs to happen at the state level. Like I said, to the specifics on what providers are seeing for trips, I can't speak to that right off the top of my head. You probably have more information on that than I do. But that's kind of the big picture on Medicaid and the state budget.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Lucy, for your input. We'll have to look into that more, Bob, but thank you for enlightening us. That is a huge hit.
I mean, but it's not even realistic. I mean, if they,
Oh, no.
you know, if they want to say 20% or 25%, but to take it from 36 to 7 cents in, you know, when, you know, especially with what, well, it doesn't matter. If they're going to take a hit, fine, but that's not a hit, that's decimation. And so I would think that we need to come up with, before the next meeting, on what are we going to do with our seniors who are on Medicaid? Not so much, I mean, I don't know what all the transportation people in El Paso County who don't quite have the, you know, 50 to 75 miles to drive times 7 cents. But for us, if we're taking somebody from Florissant or Cripple Creek or those places, you know, it makes it impossible unless we go and try to find some other, you know, we didn't know we had to go find funding sources. I mean, even the cuts that PPACG made to their providers was in that, you know, 10 to 20% range. And so we probably wouldn't like it, but we could live with it. But we can't live with it. And yet, what do? You got people who, and they're the most vulnerable, not only senior wise, but also family wise, that are on Medicaid. And just because they have fraud, that's kind of part of my definition of what government does, but that's for another time. That then to take it out on the legitimate people who truly do need help. But anyway, I just think that there's something more that maybe we could be doing, or have, you know, whether we try to go to some of the funding sources who may not know that that's a hit, and see whether we can, and I would think Park County would even be worse than we are. So anyway,
Well, thank you again. All right, if we don't have anything further,
Phyllis has her hand.
oh, I'm sorry, Phyllis, go ahead. I'm just not looking at hands.
Well, what I was going to tell you, you know, we're talking about what's going on with the governments and stuff like that, but somebody today told me that Park County is going to, and you should look this up, tactical civics. It's very interesting and eye-opening, and that's all I'm going to say.
Civics. All right. Thank you for sharing that. All right. With that being said, I think we can adjourn the meeting at 4:44 and hope everyone has a great rest of your week and a happy Memorial Day weekend. If you can't see Carolyn, she's dressed for the occasion, red, white, and blue, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We don't do everything on the table. Generation.
Well, the thought that I had was going to, it'd be, I was wishing that the age-friendly